Just about a week and a half ago, the story was run by Tucker Carlson that Marie Yovanovitch may have perjured herself under oath, making a statement that wasn't true. Now, the complicated thing about perjury is intent. Did you just make a misstatement or did you intentionally lie? And I have to say, the first story, this is an old story I talked about last week, presents the possibility that there was a lie, in that Tucker Carlson uncovered an email that was not public, suggesting what Marie Yovanovitch testified to was factually incorrect. If the email exists, it's still possible. She was just wrong. Oh, I forgot the email. But come on, we know how the game is played. The feds, they want to accuse you of lying. They're going to ascribe that motive to you. Well, we got bigger news now, because you may have seen the testimony the other day. Well, it started with Elise Stefanik. Even Obama's State Department was concerned about Hunter Biden's role at Burisma. She killed it. Okay, Stefanik nailed it. She stole the show. I was very impressed. Great questions. Really, really well done. Marie Yovanovitch is essentially testifying to the fact that I guess there's like a criminal conspiracy or something, that Trump wanted to remove her because she was standing in the way of his corrupt deal, which is, it's ridiculous. Look, man, if you want to allege a conspiracy against the president that he was trying to remove you because you were standing in the way of corruption, you need to actually show the corruption. Okay, and the president is allowed to remove you. No conspiracy there. The president is allowed to make deals with foreign governments for treaties. No corruption there. And based on the premise that the Politico story in 2017 shows Ukraine was meddling in our elections, then Trump was justified, in my opinion, in trying to look into that. Where's the criminal aspect of this? No one so far has testified. Now, I understand it's a complicated process. Here's the thing. Coming off that first story from Tucker, where she said something under oath that was not true, you'd say at that point, okay, maybe she just misremembered or made a mistake. Nothing will likely come of it. But what happens when she does it again? Check this out. We have another story now from Town Hall. Did Yovanovitch lie in her testimony? Because here's what happens. I want to read you this story about Stefanik and the question she asked. But Yovanovitch testified, no one from the previous administration brought up Hunter Biden. Uh-oh. Stefanik then tried asking questions, but Schiff shut her down. And he said, according to H.R. 660, I believe is the resolution, only the ranking member and counsel can speak. And that's true. But it's also true that as soon as Stefanik was able to ask the question, she proved that there was at least an inconsistency in the testimony of Yovanovitch. The question then becomes, now with two instances where Yovanovitch testified to things that were easily verifiably false, is anything going to come of this? I'll tell you what, no, of course not. It never does. These people are never held accountable. At least someone could stand up next, and say, Yovanovitch, you were wrong. And what was mind-blowing to me is that even after Stefanik questioned her about Biden, I was waiting for the Republican to say, excuse me, you just testified to the contrary. And I could only think of one real reason why they wouldn't bring that up when she admitted she was giving false testimony, because they were going to wait until afterwards to say, aha, we can prove it. Because if they did it there, she would say, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, let me clarify. Now it's in the record, the hearing is done. Now Republicans can say she lied under oath. Will they? Of course not. Nothing's gonna happen, dude. You know what, man? Democrats are running around in circles like chickens with their head cut off, doing all these crazy things, accusing of Brett Kavanaugh of God knows what. And what are Republicans doing? Nothing. Sorry, that's just what's happening. Now, I'm not all Republicans. Come on. I think Stefanik did an amazing job. And the only reason we're talking about this now is because she actually did her homework. Check this out. The Daily Caller reports, Republican New York Rep. Elise Stefanik pointed out during Friday's impeachment hearings the fact that former President Barack Obama's own State Department expressed concern about Hunter Biden's role at Burisma Holdings. During the Friday hearings, Stefanik questioned former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, about Obama-era prepping for her own Senate confirmation hearing, in which the potential conflict of interest on the issue was raised. This was in the form of practice questions and answers, said Stefanik. This is your deposition, and you testify that in this particular practice Q&A with the Obama State Department, it wasn't just generally about Burisma and corruption, it was specifically about Hunter Biden and Burisma. Is that correct? Yes, it is, Yovanovitch responded. Finally, Stefanik pointed out that it was the Trump administration that eventually delivered the lethal aid to Ukraine, not Obama, to which Yovanovitch responded, that's correct. Now, this is important because she was talking about intra-agency, how the agencies have to work together. Well, I'll tell you what. All of these agencies, including the ambassadors, apparently said Ukraine needs weapons. And Obama said, no, I will defy the interagency consensus on this one. Trump, on the other hand, agreed and delivered the weapons. I don't understand why they're mad at Trump over this, but sure, whatever. But that brings us to the more important issue. Did she lie in her testimony? You mean, did she lie twice? Come on. Is anything to come of this? And I'll tell you the other thing, too. She got a standing ovation once she finished. Everyone stands up, starts clapping. Yeah, they're in D.C., dude. Overwhelmingly left area. Urban areas are liberal. So everyone, all these lefties are like, wow, a standing ovation. That proves it. No, it proves you're in a blue city, a blue district. But let's read. Town Hall writes, former Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch told two very different stories about her previous communications with the Obama administration regarding Burisma and Hunter Biden. In her opening statement before a House impeachment hearing on Friday, Yovanovitch said, although I have met former Vice President Joe Biden several times over the course of our many years in government service, neither he nor the previous administration ever raised the issue of either Burisma or Hunter Biden with me. That was a lie. That was a lie. Look, I can say that maybe she just made a mistake and she misremembered, but she had just previously testified contrary to this fact. Based on the way she and others responded to questions, it was clear they have a bias. She was mad she was fired. Bad things for Trump are good things for her. So no, nobody, I had no idea the corruption was happening all around me. And then, in your previous testimony, you said this was specifically what you were questioned on by the Obama administration State Department. Yeah. You going to do anything about it, Republicans? No, you know what, man? I think the funnier question I have, the left talks about how there was an article where they said Trump could take a dump on Lincoln Memorial and Republicans would defend him. Oh, please, dude. They would put their head down and they would do everything in their power to avoid saying anything to defend the president, and only at the very last minute would mumble something like, and you'd be like, well, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear what you said, because they're not doing anything effective. Okay, so there are a few Republicans who are doing some good things. I'm not, I get it. But come on, for the most part, they could be doing a lot more. Apparently, Lindsey Graham is going to subpoena Adam Schiff or something. I don't know how that'll work because it's the Senate. But let's read on. They say later on, Rep. Stefanik finally made it past Chairman Adam Schiff. Stefanik asked Yovanovitch about her previous deposition testimony where she detailed exactly how the Obama State Department had prepared her to handle the issue of Burisma and Hunter Biden during her Senate confirmation hearings. Perhaps she was told by Schiff's people, don't worry, the only people asking questions will be Nunes and Castor. Perhaps she thought, in the public, I better be careful about how I say this. And when she was in private, she thought she could say, here's exactly what happened. Now that she's publicly testifying, gotta change that story, huh? Do something about this. I am sick and tired of it. You know what? Nothing's gonna happen. The first time we read that part already. So was Yovanovitch lying during her opening statement or during her answer to Rep. Stefanik? Stefanik then continued, so for the millions of Americans watching, President Obama's own State Department was so concerned about potential conflicts of interest from Hunter Biden's role at Burisma that they raised it themselves while prepping this wonderful ambassador nominee before her confirmation. Stefanik pointed out that House Democrats continue to cry foul when Republicans bring up Hunter Biden and Burisma, even though the Obama State Department had the exact same concerns. And now let's bring it down. The Obama State Department had the concerns, asked Stefanik, but I wonder why there was no investigation launched. Perhaps it's because it's the vice president's son of your own administration. But when Trump gets in with the same concerns, he says, you got to look into this, and the Democrats are saying, aha, now we can impeach you. Seriously? They say, why did the former ambassador deny this in her opening statement? So this was pointed out by a lot of people. But I guess the bigger problem I see is one that Republicans probably need to deal with. See, the Democrats will run full speed with 30-year-old accusations, no witness testimony, no evidence, nothing, and we will get hearings over this. Are you nuts? The Kavanaugh hearings was a huge waste of time. And what are the Republicans doing? They control the Senate. The Republicans controlled the House, and they couldn't even pass Trump's budgets. And then the Democrats take over and they go, oh no, now it's the Democrats' fault. Oh, please, dude. The Republicans are ineffective. They're not getting the job done. So I think it's funny when people are like, you're going to vote Republican, Tim? Why would I? Like, the Democrats are nuts. The Republicans can't get the job done. Look, for the most part, I disagree with a lot of the more ideological positions Republicans have outside. And I'll tell you this. One of the big issues that people see is because I agree on free speech and issues of liberty with Republicans, and that's most of what we're talking about, that's the only reason to vote a certain direction. No. Look, man, I'm a pretty moderate centrist individual. I like Tulsi for a lot of reasons, and that's about it. And I got to admit, policy-wise, there are a lot of things Tulsi, has proposed that I really, really do not agree with. But she gets me over that bump just a little bit, and so I do like her for a lot of reasons. Notably, that she's willing to cross the aisle and have these conversations, and I think it's really, 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 really important. But you know what? They're gonna smear her anyway, so whatever. In the end, the point is, regardless of me always going on to rants about which presidential candidate I'm going to support, why can't Republicans do anything about this? I don't ask me. I think it's up to the Republicans. So, if you're somebody who's Republican, you voted that way, perhaps you should be asking the question, are they going to look into the now 2 instances where she gave false testimony? No, nothing ever happens unless it's impeaching President Trump, because Obama can do a lot of things. I'm going to wrap it up. You get the point. Stick around. Next segment is coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.